Straight ahead on 12 News, clearing up confusion about 3 Plymouth lakes, the effort to make sure they have the correct names. Plus, possible changes coming to Crystal will show you the improvements considered for the area in and around Becker Park. But first, a highway scare.
I didn't realize that he wasn't going to stop, and by the time I realized he was going to stop.
A driver shares her story of a hit and run in Robbinsdale. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Robbinsdale police are looking into a hit-and-run incident that injured a driver.
The victim's injuries are minor, but she also has significant car damage. As Eric Nelson reports, she hopes telling her story will help catch the person who did it.
What should have been a normal commute to work on a sleepy Sunday morning
He just was driving kind of like a maniac.
turned into a scary ordeal on a Robbinsdale highway.
I almost flipped. My car kind of fishtailed, and I fortunately was able to gain control, but he hit me pretty hard, and he was going pretty fast.
The victim of this bump and run is Sharon, who did not want her last name used in the story.
It seemed malicious.
Sharon says her car was struck by a blue Dodge Charger, but she could not get the license plate number. Sharon hopes publicity might shine some light on this aggressive act. This is the spot where Sharon says she was sideswiped. It's the on-ramp from County Road 81 onto Minnesota Highway 100. Both drivers were going southbound. Sharon in her Honda Accord and a male driver speeding behind, getting closer and closer in her rearview mirror.
I was thinking to myself, there's no way you're going to make it in front of me, and he attempted and just plowed right into me when the 2 lanes meet, and then took off.
Sharon's car now has some dents.
I didn't realize that he wasn't going to stop.
Her passenger door does not open. The mirror does not work, and there is hubcap damage.
I'm a firm believer that he'll get what is coming to him some way or another. So I've taken a little bit of, I've had some peace from that.
Sharon also has minor injuries and is out of work for a week.
Nothing's broken, but I have pretty good whiplash, so I will be out for a while.
Robbinsdale police don't have many clues to go on in this case. Sometimes victims are too rattled to think about getting key information.
A lot of times people are struck by vehicles and they are so surprised by what's just happened that they don't pay much attention to that vehicle as it's leaving.
In Robbinsdale, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
Besides a license plate number, Robbinsdale police say the key info they need in a hit-and-run accident is vehicle color, what direction it was going, and the vehicle make and model.
A Brooklyn Center man is charged after police say he tried to pick up a 260-pound shipment of marijuana. 26-year-old Stephen Yang is jailed after police say workers at a produce warehouse in Minneapolis found a large amount of marijuana addressed to him. According to the criminal complaint, the marijuana was hidden inside a produce shipment from California. Yang was arrested when he arrived to pick up the package. The marijuana is valued at up to $1.5 million.
The Brooklyn Park City Council will hold a public hearing next month to gather input on ranked choice voting. Minneapolis and St. Paul are 2 cities that use ranked choice voting, which allows voters to rank multiple candidates in order of preference. It would also combine the primary and general elections into one event. Ranked choice voting would only be used to decide the outcome of the Brooklyn Park mayoral and city council races. However, the proposal appears to lack support among some elected officials. Councilmember John Jordan believes it could disenfranchise voters and ultimately reduce voter turnout.
I think ranked choice voting would create overvotes. People who would be confused, people who would vote more than they're supposed to. Just like I was asking the question about, can I vote for Mayor Lundy, Mayor Lundy, Mayor Lundy? And people are going to do that.
Under ranked choice voting, you can't select a candidate more than once. A candidate wins when he or she has more than 50% of the vote. The public hearing on the issue is set for February 8th.
Well, you may already have received a notice from your garbage hauler that rates are going up in the new year. It has to do with how much the haulers are charged to dump garbage at the Brooklyn Park transfer station or at the downtown Minneapolis garbage burner site. The county raised the fee for haulers from $49 to $55 per ton. Well, county officials say the average homeowner should see an increase of only about $6 per year. If it's more than that, officials say to check with your garbage hauler.
A move is underway to clear up confusion about the names of 3 small lakes in Plymouth. The sign says this lake off of County Road 101 is Kretz Lake, and that is what the community calls it. But after an inventory was done on Minnesota lakes back in the 1960s, the names of this lake, Snyder Lake, and an unnamed lake nearby were accidentally mixed up on the official state records. Now the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District is trying to reaffirm the lake's original names.
Those volunteers, having finally 2 basins where we're collecting water data at the same time, really kind of sparked that confusion. The locals refer to these lakes as Kretz and Snyder, and so when we put out reports and share data about these lakes, we want to make sure that they're learning and reading about the right lake.
If you notice Kaylee's last name is the same as Kretz Lake, you're right. It was her great-great-grandfather who named it in the first place. Neighbors around each lake have signed petitions to get the names corrected. Downtown Crystal could get a makeover.
Now, with the anticipation of light rail, officials want to make sure the area is more pedestrian friendly. Reporter Sonia Goen shows us what that could mean for local businesses and parks.
Just an exciting project. I think it's a great opportunity for the residents and businesses of Crystal.
Planners are looking at ways to improve a half-mile area around the proposed light rail station at County Road 81 and Bass Lake Road.
There's not a lot of communities in the metropolitan area that have this opportunity.
Dan Olson is the Crystal City planner. He says the goal is to make the area more accessible and safer for folks to get around.
There's been talk of doing a pedestrian bridge over Highway 81, so that makes it easier to cross that for pedestrians.
Another scenario calls for a promenade along Bass Lake Road.
This is how it looks now, and then this is a proposed with the promenade.
The sidewalks would be widened and some improvements would be made to business storefronts.
Making the whole area kind of more walker friendly. Also adding some bike lanes. Adding parking on both sides.
And there are 3 plans for Becker Park. The first option doesn't call for any major changes.
Well, the first option is get rid of the berm along Bass Lake Road.
Option 2 would reconfigure the park. It would remain the same size, but would include an ice skating rink and a restaurant.
The second option also has what's called a stroll, which would go off of Bass Lake Road. It would be kind of like a Central Park type thing where it's a wide pedestrian area, almost like a road.
The third plan calls for more living space.
Just adding some multifamily to kind of create this main street here on Bass Lake.
Officials are hoping the Blue Line improvements will bring more green to the city.
It has the potential for bringing all these new shoppers and residents to the city.
In Crystal, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The community meeting will be held on January 25th from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Crystal Community Center. We'll have more information about that on our website at 12.tv. Coming up, a Robbinsdale medical unit is the first in the state to use a certain kind of technology. We'll explain coming up next.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Osseo boys basketball team is on the rebound following a down season a year ago.
But first, temperatures stay near freezing. On Wednesday, there's also a chance for a coating of slushy snow. There is now a faster way to treat sick or injured children. That's thanks to new technology used by emergency teams at North Memorial Healthcare.
Today in Health Check, Emily Ragoose takes us behind the scenes to show us how it works.
You hear it all the time. Seconds count during an emergency. And dealing with children in critical situations takes it up a notch.
Fortunately, we don't get kids that are extremely sick very often. But when we do, they need help very fast.
Now with the hand-heavy pediatric system, EMTs and paramedics are able to get meds to its youngest patients faster.
Any type of condition that you can think of for a child that's been injured, we're able to treat more effectively now.
North Memorial Ambulance and Air Care Medical Director Dr. John Ling says its old system relied on paper materials.
The challenge with this was it was one concentration of medication, and we didn't always carry that concentration of medication.
Emergency crews were then left to do tricky math to figure out the proper dosage. With the new technology, all the information is available on each emergency person's electronic tablet.
This does all the math for them.
It also allows them to prepare medications before they arrive on scene. And with it being electronic, crews receive updated information almost instantaneously. That's huge when dealing with more than 750 EMTs and paramedics.
But it'll populate this list with the new concentration, and then we can push that file out electronically across the internet to all of the tablets that are on our secure system.
The EMTs at North Memorial are the first in the area to be using this new technology, and so far they've gotten great feedback.
The paramedics love it. They feel much more comfortable taking care of kids.
Luckily, they've only needed to use the new technology a handful of times, but it's made the process go more smoothly.
It's a communication factor, it's a consistency of care factor across the system. It improves our ability to provide safer care.
And when seconds count, both the kids and parents appreciate any chance to feel better, faster. In Brooklyn Center, Emily Ragoose, 12 News.
Right now, the new technology is being used in North Memorial's ambulances and helicopters. They are hoping to eventually integrate it into the hospital as well. Coming up, a Plymouth nonprofit close to painting the entire house red.
And up next in sports, Champlin Park's boys basketball team is gearing up for a pair of big conference games this week. John Jacobson is in with their story when we come back. You learn about rebounding in basketball, and this year that's exactly what Osseo is doing. They have rebounded. They're undefeated.
Yeah, about a 500 team last year, but really come back strong this year. Osseo has been a consistent winner in boys basketball in recent years. The Orioles had an off season last year, but as Jay Wilcox reports, roaring back this winter.
They've hit the 2016 portion of the schedule and are still undefeated. The sizzling 10-0 start is a bit of a surprise even to the Orioles.
Actually, I am. I didn't picture to start off this great, but it's a pretty great start, and hopefully we keep it going. We're not really a big team. We're a more smaller team, so we run a lot, so good hustle and great communication and great defense.
I knew we were going to be good this year. I didn't think we were going to, get off to this good of a start, but it's nice to see the hard work pay off so far.
Last week's blowout of St. Michael Albertville in holiday tournament play was also Coach Tim Tyson's 300th win.
It means I'm getting old, number one, but it means that, you know what, we're doing something right here. This is my 14th year. To get 300 wins in 14 years, or 13 and a half, it's pretty impressive. We've had a lot of great players. We've had a lot of great coaches.
This week is a big one for Osseo. Road tests at Armstrong Tuesday and Champlin Park Thursday will show how far they've come.
Yeah, this week's going to be fun for us. I've been looking forward to this one all year. Because some friends are on the team, so it'll be just fun to get out there and play.
Well, I know both teams are very, very great teams. They got very great players on their team, so we're not going to go in and sleep on them. We're going to go in ready to play, not come in cocky at all, even though we have a 10-0 start, but anything can happen in the game of basketball.
But this week will really kind of determine, are we pretenders or are we up there for real? These two teams have probably more upper-end talent than what we have, meaning kids that are ranked in the top 100, top 150 in the nation. That's what Armstrong and Champlin has. I feel we have a better team.
The Orioles are flying high so far, with only one of their first 10 opponents even challenging them. They hope to continue that role. Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
The Champlin Park boys basketball team is also off to a great start. The Rebels won conference and section titles and were state runner-up in Class 4A last season, but lost a lot to graduation. Well, they've hardly missed a beat. Champlin Park comes into Tuesday night with a 9-1 record, with the only loss to top-ranked Hopkins. They've played quite a few strong teams, including wins over Wayzata and Minneapolis North last week at the Granite City Classic in St. Cloud.
Oh yeah, it gave us two different types of teams to play against. I mean, Wayzata big and strong, and North small and quick. I mean, it really showed that we can play anyone in state pretty well.
Very physical game on the bigger court at St. Cloud State against Wayzata, and they're a big team, physical team, and great experience for us to pull out that win. And then Minneapolis North, high flying, lots of scoring, and our guys responded well to the first half. They kind of came in and were hot, and we held them at 24 points the second half and kind of changed the entire game. So real happy with that.
After hosting Andover Tuesday, the Rebels renew the rivalry with Osseo Thursday in a key game.
I'm excited about to play against Osseo. There's obviously a lot to talk about them too. Not many people think we'll beat them. They obviously think otherwise, but I'm excited for the test on Thursday on our home court in front of our crowd, so it'll be good.
And we'll have the Osseo Champlin Park game for you live on Channel 12 and on our website, 12.tv, Thursday night at 7, or catch the replays Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. Several of Minnesota's best high school boys swimming and diving teams were in Minneapolis over the weekend for the annual Maroon and Gold Invitational. And many of those teams are ranked this week as well. In this week's Coaches Association statewide rankings, Eden Prairie, which won the gold division at that meet, holds the top spot. Minnetonka is second with last year's state AA champions Egan ranked third. Stillwater and Chaska-Chan round out the top 5. Wayzata is the only team from the area that's ranked. The Trojans are 7th. In Class A, 4-time defending state champion St. Thomas Academy is once again at the top of the polls. Simley is second. Breck Blake, the Bear Stangs, are ranked 3rd this week. Sartell, St. Stephen, and Faribault are 4th and 5th. And live tonight, Tuesday on Channel 12, Armstrong at Osseo girls basketball at 7.
Okay, thanks a lot, John. Still ahead, a goal that is oh so close.
A Plymouth nonprofit nears a big fundraising target when we come back. And finally, it's a push to the finish line on a huge community goal.
With a little help, a Plymouth nonprofit will be able to help more than 2,000 families in need this year. With each dollar raised through its annual Sleep Out campaign, Interfaith Outreach and Community Partners has been painting this house red to reach its goal of $2.2 million. All they have left to do is raise $80,000 to finish the job by January 15th. And since early November, dozens of people have slept outside to raise money for the campaign, which will help more than 2,000 families in the Northwest Metro with everything from housing and transportation to employment and child care.
It's not overnight that someone got to the state they're in, that they're needing help, and it's not going to be overnight until they get to that better day. And we know that, and we want to stay with them. We want to be on that journey with them, help them find all the resources and strengths that they can muster and get them to that day that they're living in their dreams just like the rest of us.
If you want to make a donation and help them raise the final $80,000, you can go to IOCP.org. And that does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we will see you back here again tomorrow, beginning at 4. Thanks.